Perhaps you've heard of dumping syndrome, but maybe you're also wondering, like, what exactly is it? I've heard patients start to describe to me, like, yeah, I had this dumping episode, and then they start describing vomiting, which to me tells me that they don't actually know what dumping syndrome is. So let me clear it up, tell you what it is, and also give you tips on how to prevent it because it's not the most pleasant experience. Hey, I'm Steph Wagner. I'm a registered dietitian and I specialize in bariatric surgery and GLP-1 nutrition. I also send free recipes to my email subscribers and eating tips and product reviews every week for anyone on my email list. So be sure and click that link below and get on there, get lots of goodies every week. Okay, today I want to talk about this interesting conversation, dumping syndrome. It's not the most pleasant conversation, but I think it's very important to know when you are going to have this massive change in your body that changes your digestive tract and something that could absolutely happen because of this change in your digestive tract. So dumping syndrome happens when food, especially foods that are high in sugar or high in fat, move quickly through your post-op stomach and go into the small intestine more rapidly than before you had surgery. So this rapid movement of food going from the stomach to the small intestine, it pulls a bunch of water into your small intestine to kind of make up for that high solute load that's just come into that area. That causes a wave of symptoms, lots of uncomfortable symptoms that could be nausea, stomach cramping, dizziness, lightheadedness, sweating, rapid heartbeat, and lots of diarrhea. Could be immediate, could be running to the bathroom, and it could be a while. So that's the dumping part that is no fun, unpleasant, but it's not vomiting. Vomiting is more likely related to eating too fast or too large of bites. So that experience is more related to eating how you're eating rather than what you're eating. So vomiting more likely how you're eating. Dumping, diarrhea, more related to what you're eating. Okay? It's not pleasant to have a dumping episode, but the good news is it is preventable. And if it happens, you kind of learn from it, you reflect on it, and you rehydrate. Okay, so why does it happen? So after bariatric surgery, especially gastric bypass, gastric sleeve, duodenal switch, your stomach empties faster. So the textures of food you eat make a big difference in how fast food is moving through your stomach. Lean, solid protein is going to slow that process down, but a softer textured food or a liquid will go faster. So even thinking of milk has fat, has carbohydrate, it's a liquid, it's going to go faster. You might have a dumping syndrome from milk because it has fat and sugar and it's a liquid. You may not, but that's an example because of the texture, it moves through fast. Okay, so here are some simple tips to help you avoid this experience. Number one is use caution with high sugar or high fat foods. Sometimes patients elect a gastric bypass because they kind of want a dumping syndrome to prevent them from eating high sugar, high fat foods. They like the built-in accountability. Some patients even will kind of test the waters and they are disappointed when they don't have dumping syndrome. That's maybe a whole other conversation of why maybe dumping syndrome is not always the best motivator, but this does happen where some patients want to have dumping syndrome with food. Whether or not you're using it for that reason, that's what it is. Foods that are high in sugar, high in fat may cause this experience. So if you look for foods that are less than 10 grams of fat or less than 8 grams of sugar, that tends to be, could be different for everyone, but that tends to be kind of a safer zone. Under 10 grams of fat, under 8 grams of sugar in a serving tends to be a safe zone that you can eat those foods and be tolerated fine. Okay, the other thing is to have protein in your stomach first. If you're going to try a taste of birthday cake on your birthday, just don't do it on an empty stomach. Have some lean protein and vegetables for dinner, and then leave a little bit of space for a few bites of your dessert. So this will slow the process down. It will slow the food down so it's not moving into the small intestine as fast, and that may prevent the ill effects from trying your birthday treat. Also, watch for sugar alcohols. If you try for a sugar-free treat, even some protein bars, watch for items with sugar alcohols that can cause some of these symptoms to occur as well. So I would say stay within that same limit of 8 grams of sugar alcohols. And if you do have any dumping type of experience from sugar alcohols, you would want to make note of that, because you could be more sensitive to sugar alcohols and need to limit even further than that 8 grams the next time. Okay, so remember, dumping syndrome can be frustrating, but with some adjustments, you can avoid it and feel your best. If you do have a dumping syndrome episode, be sure and rehydrate, especially if you have a lot of loose stools. No fun to have a lot of diarrhea, extra no fun to have dehydration as a part of it. So I hope this was helpful. Be sure and like it, follow, come to my website for more tips on bariatric nutrition. And again, be sure and hop on my email list for lots of support every week in your inbox. Thanks for watching.